Welcome to Fighters Evolution's Fight Talk. Tonight, we have the Marvel vs. Capcom champion with us from our recent tournament. Anzz is with us, and he will be in the Fighters Evolution hot seat. Let's bring him on. Let's bring him on. Wait. Oh, he's coming on now, guys. Here's Anzz.
What's up, man? How's it going? What it do?
Anzz is with us.
How's it going, man? What's up, Blazt?
What's
Good to
up,
meet you.
man? Nice to meet you too. Finally
Nice to meet you,
get to see the face. Get to see the face.
You get to see my mask, man.
Congratulations on winning the tournament. I have to say that.
Thank you.
You fought one hell of a show.
I appreciate it.
That was one hell of a battle. I mean, come on. You went through the round robin. Like I said, you were in the hot seat. We put you in that hot seat.
I was hot, man. I was hot, man. After losing that set with Piova, I'm like, man, I was annoyed. Well, I was like, I have to change. I have to make adjustments, and I did. I was just focused. I'm like, all right, let's do this, and kind of nervous, but at the same time focused, and that's how it should be. It's just, you got to try your best.
And you did. You were focused. You did your best, and you won in the end, man. Congratulations. It was an amazing fight, amazing battle. It was really something.
It was really fun, more than anything. It was really...
Well, that's what we're trying to do with the whole Fighters Evolution. It's all about the fun. We want it to be fun for everyone. I had a blast running the tournament with the guys. I have to give a shout out to Doobie, of course, who's our co-host, Bloodtide, and the utility man who were in the background. And I have to give a shout out to Rob 2D, because if not for him, we wouldn't be even able to do what we do. He provided us with the solutions. He's always in the background, helping the community out, making sure that...
shout out to him, man. He's a good commentator.
Oh, yeah.
He had some cool
Doobie was great as a commentator. I agree.
Yeah,
you guys got to check out The Code Always Wins on YouTube as well, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
And Doobie has his own channel too, by the way. Doobie has his own channel as well, so you guys should check him out too.
He also comments and stuff?
Yeah. He plays different games. He's on Twitch and all of that too, guys. So definitely check him out there. But tonight is not about those guys. Tonight is about you, my man.
All right.
Like, I'd like to find out, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys out there want to know, what was in your mind? Like, okay, so I have questions beyond questions, but I'll start off with the tournament. I'll start off with that. So, while you were playing, I want to know what was mostly going through your mind. Like if I the highlight for the tournament, what went through your head? What can you tell me, like, while you were playing, what was constantly going through your mind?
All right, so when I started the tournament, it took me a couple hours to play because my first opponent didn't show up, sadly. So I started to get a little frustrated. But then at the same time, I told myself, just relax. Like, you already took the day off. You're already here. Don't let this, like...
Thank you for taking the day off.
Sabotage your mentality for this tournament. So when I did end up playing, I think my first game was with Morpheus. He was in the hot seat. Or I think it must have been Piova, but it was one of them. With Morpheus, I lost one game. And I think I won the set, though. But to me, I thought the way the tournament works was the amount of games you lose, not the sets. But then I realized it was the other way around, like after, right?
So it was all point driven. Yeah.
I was trying to be a perfectionist, like I'm like, one game, it shouldn't have happened, like. And then when I lost to Piova, I'm like, damn, like I was like a little annoyed, but I had to regroup, I had to regroup and I had to make adjustments. You know,
And you did.
and I did. I just
I saw you adjusting actually in that first to 10, the tiebreaker. There was a lot of controversy with what should have been done and what happened, and
right.
I had to make that judgment call to say, okay, you know what, both of them, you and Silent Ninja were tied for first, and I was like, we want to see that action. We want to see you guys go at it, and having you guys play a first to 10 was a lot of fun. And thank you both. If Silent Ninja's watching and he hears this, thank you, Silent Ninja, for playing with Anzz on this.
Yeah, that was very fun. Like
You
I think we
guys,
needed some kind of long set in the end. You know, like first to two
especially
was
after that,
fun because the tournament goes by fast. But you know, despite the fact we had prizes to give away and we had the commenters and people like not being ready and stuff, the tournament spreads out to a couple hours. So why not do what people want? Or like me personally, obviously I wanted to win because I was already first. I just wanted to walk away. But it's like, all right, well I still got this. Like I think I can compete. Like I was nervous. Like Silent is a top guy. Like he has a lot of history.
he's
He
really good.
trains.
He's really good.
He trains for he trains offline. I don't really train offline, so I gotta give respect to the guy. He
Wait,
you know
you don't train offline? You're
I
never in the
sometimes train
lab?
offline.
Okay.
I don't feel like I lab as much as others, maybe.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
but I do watch videos. I guess that would count as lab. I watch videos. I get some coaching.
Okay.
Um, you know, I ask everyone their opinion and stuff. I'm really into that strategy talk and
I know you
kind
are.
of sharing
I know you are.
sharing what I know. I can get I can talk with someone about like one specific scene, like, oh, check this out. This is why I did this, and then they're oh cool, and then I try to share.
I know. And
So
earlier you actually shared how to cancel out the high punch with me. That's something that I
yeah.
did not know.
All right, go ahead and kill me.
So how do you do this? Like I don't even know how to do this,
Oh,
man.
okay. Which one are you trying to do? The one where you off the ground?
No, the where you canceling.
Oh, press hard punch,
Yep.
and then press low kick right after.
Literally?
The low kick is gonna cancel. The low kick cancels everything. You can even there you go.
You're
So just press
kidding.
it once. After you press it once, then press down. Yeah, and then
Oh.
just do it again.
Holy
Yeah.
crap! That's how you do it?
Yeah,
Wow.
and then you just get used to it.
That's cool. That's cool. I actually did not know that. That's cool.
For sure.
That's something that I
Yeah,
did not know. I
yeah.
I know how to
You should
use
try that.
Venom, and I can actually do the walking infinite, the air combo juggle.
Yeah.
But the person that actually taught me that and really knows how to do it is C.S. Vagrant. So shout out to my boy C.S. Vagrant if he's watching. This guy, he's a combo king, bro. Between us,
Nice.
he's like a
For sure.
Marvel versus Capcom legend, like up there with like Player X and stuff from the old X Team days.
Yeah, good shit,
But
man.
but again,
Yep.
tonight is about you, my friend. It's not about
Absolutely.
anyone else.
For sure,
So
for sure.
I have I saw you adjust when you played Silent Ninja. You had one team, and then I know Silent Ninja had to make his adjustments. So when
Hmm.
he adjusted, I saw that you went and you readjusted. Am I in tune in that? Like, is that
This
what?
is correct.
Okay.
The way the game works is I would say it's based off of momentum. So let's say I have a few wins against Silent. He's gonna have to find some way to stop what I'm doing. He's gonna adapt to my skills, to my patterns, and he's gonna change characters perhaps. He tried to go Chun-Li, tried to go Red Venom,
I
and he
saw.
tried to adapt.
I saw that.
Um, as soon as he went go War Machine, I had some trouble. It seemed that way, so I'm like, okay, instead of keep giving him the same characters that I have, I'm gonna switch it up so he
You
doesn't
did.
know what to expect. That was my mentality.
I saw
So
that.
I went Go War Machine. Go War Machine versus Go War Machine, for example. I'm confident.
So
So
I gotta
that.
ask. He
Mhm.
was I know when you guys started off, you got a good lead, and then I saw him coming back afterwards. He adjusted, and that's when I saw
Absolutely.
you readjusted yourself.
Yeah, I had
Um,
to. Like I said, momentum's very to me, it's underrated, and it's a lot of people don't really think about the momentum because it can come down to psychological. Like if you think about what's maybe I don't really know silent like that.
Okay.
It's just this is what I would feel. If I was behind, I would be nervous, you know? My hands would get sweaty, fucking mom spaghetti, it would be a hard time for me to catch up. So
Yeah.
if my opponent were to keep the lead, it's going to be tough for me to, catch up. So I had to keep the pressure, the lead, the momentum. I felt like I was more fine,
Mhm.
inside. So I was more willing to just keep going, I didn't want to drop the ball. In the end, it's all
No,
about
you
like
didn't.
not being too confident, you know, a lot of things can come into it. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to readjust and take deep breaths and all those things matter.
Yeah,
It's like
man.
your
I,
is
I,
to take these breaths and just try not to
I've
let
been there.
emotions.
I know exactly how that feels. I've been even in the number one spot in my life before many times, so I have
Yeah,
an idea what that's like. Especially fighting for money and all that, bro. But you know what? You adjusted. You did what you had to do, and you won. Honestly, I thought Silent was gonna come back at one point, and when I saw him coming back, I knew what he did. He picked Gold War Machine just so that you couldn't lift him up from the
yeah.
ground. He
I
was
couldn't lift him
solid.
up.
Yeah,
Go War Machine. He's literally solid. Go
yeah.
War Machine.
He was
Has a easier time to fight Red Venom.
he was pretty
Um,
smart about that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
give him
Like
kudos and respect.
exactly. And that's what it's about. You have to really adapt. And like let's say on Fightcade you first attempt someone and you're in the lead and then they switch characters, your best option would be to counter that team because
Okay.
that's what the game's about. It's about countering teams. The games are so fast, they can last 1 to 2 minutes and then it's like, all right, up to the next game and you pick the counter team and all right, and then they counter that and that's how it really should be. You
So
have the options to select.
no, I hear you on that. So
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. So you mentioned Morph and you mentioned Piova with regards to them actually taking some points off of you. Would you say that those two were your they gave you the most trouble? Who in
No,
the
I
tournament?
had well, okay, so
Who
I
in the
think I
tournament?
lost. I think maybe just Rich took one off me. No, no,
Okay,
no, he didn't take one off
no.
me. I forgot who it was. Okay, so Morph, I don't know what it was, but I couldn't seem to really approach him. Like maybe I had a combo going, but I slipped up and he got a War Machine Infinite. He is a good techer and a grabber, and that's one of my specialties. So naturally that's a habit I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna try to grab you,
Right.
and then
With Venom.
he just kept taking me and countering me. I'm like, fuck. Well, I had to back up, regroup, rethink instead of just like going for just like these techs and grabs. So
War Machine. That's gonna be a good one.
Okay. Okay.
Ready, fight!
Be careful with that red venom. Please be careful. Get out of there real fast, man. Okay. All right.
Oh snap! Looks like Anzz is not dropping this one either.
Infinite is engaged.
Oh, and it reset. It reset. Oh, and the duel.
Oh! He's trying to get that Wolverine out of here. He's not even playing.
Morphin being smart with them grabs though. He said, "Nope, I gave you enough damage."
Woo! I'm glad you got that red venom out of there, man. That was scary.
That was scary. Woo! Reminded me of a War Machine that was just flying around recently. Just like that.
He's throwing it out way more.
Oh snap! He's keeping him grounded.
You really don't have to engage that much. He has the life lead.
He does, but
You
the
just chip
thing
him
is,
away.
you know and I know, Red Venom takes good damage, but he also gets
Mistake. Right, if he plays smart, keep his distance, just chip away, he can come off with the win. Don't need to pressure him. No need to try to go in, try to hurry up and finish the match. Just play it out, man. You got that life lead, and no need to chance it.
Bro, we got a 1-up on the arcade one.
Wolverine.
1-1. Anybody takes this one? Let's see who takes this one.
We are
Good matchup.
ready, Fight!
That was close. Close. Here we go. Oh, nice grab. Into the super. He's out of here. Okay. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
Uh-oh, the leg! The leg! No! Oh, man, this is excessive lag. What's going on?
And we're back like we never left.
Oh!
Just like these techs and grabs. So, and then with Silent, it's just like I said, he's a top dog, and you got to be very careful because if one combo just equals death, you know.
Yep. With
So
these
I feel like
guys,
those people give me the one of the, you know, like, and I want to give a recognition to the Punisher as well. That one game, that was really where I had like 1 pixel of life. I think he almost won that. So that match, he gave me a hard time.
Eddie.
Like, you know, it's yeah.
Eddie is a champion too. I'm gonna tell you,
Eddie's a
every
champion,
single person that made that top 8 is a champion, man.
Yeah.
They're all at one point held that #1 spot. Every single one of them. So shout out to all of the guys in the top 8.
And honestly, like most of the top 8 people were good competition. Like not to not mention them, not to
Hell yeah.
you know belittle them or anything. They even like IGVO, like players like that. Like I have
GVO's
to be
come a long
careful.
way too, bro.
Yeah, and it's like
Real long
you gotta
way.
be careful. You gotta be careful with this in this game. It's just one mistake that can be anything. So, you know, when someone can apply pressure like that, they're pretty good. You know,
But who would you say really gave you the most trouble? Who stood out to you the most? Was it Silent since you guys went for the tiebreaker?
I'm gonna have to say Silent. Yeah.
Okay.
Silent
Just curious. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth when I said that.
Yeah,
by the way. I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
That's fine. No, it's a question. I got you.
Okay.
No, it's definitely Silent, and then maybe second would be a tie between Eddie and maybe more for. Honestly, Just Rich needs a shout out as well. He has really good defense.
He's very
good. That second game, you know, that doesn't mean shit. The one with the perfect, because Red Venom can just perfect you, and if you don't have a chance to shine, then like Red Venom, all he did was he took the spotlight that match, you know.
We are Venom.
Ready. Fight!
Go. Oh, that's the grab. Oh, he got out of it. Grab him again. Oh, man. He dropped that grab. You out of here. Oh, he's gone. Wolverine's gone. So far, man. Anzz is showing a good job.
What am I walking back into?
Into the infinite again.
Oh my
goodness.
God. Anzz is just...
Oh
my God, is that a perfect?
It's over for Just
Wait,
Rich.
was that a perfect?
Spoil sports.
Oh my God, he got a perfect off of Just Rich. What the hell did I miss? He's very
You know,
good.
that second game, you know, that doesn't mean shit. The one with the perfect, because Red Venom can just perfect you, and if you don't have a chance to shine, then like Red Venom, all he did was he took the spotlight that match, you know. If I wouldn't have infinited, he would have had some counters, he would have had some, you know, some combos, but I didn't give him the chance to do that, you know. Like humbly speaking, you know, so he's good too. Yeah,
he's good too. And you know what? He could do the same thing. He could do that infinite with War Machine, and he could keep going too. I gotta tell you, the person that I think does the best War Machine out of all of them, though, like no offense to anybody here, but I would say it's Morph, just because of the sheer factor of
honestly
that he can refly and all of that, man. Like he
honestly,
got that refly down.
Morph deserves the respect of the War Machine Infinite.
Yeah, because
he has a shitload of experience. Like he used to play back in the day in Kylera days. And then I think he took a break or something, and then you know, so he's got that War Machine Infinite on. That's scary. He can lift you up with a low kick. That's
And
hard to do on cab, you know?
I'm not downplaying Rich. I'm not downplaying Eddie or anyone else for that matter when it comes to War Machine. These guys have killer War Machines. I know because I personally played them before. So I mean, what I'm talking about, and what do I mean? I mean by continuing the infinite, because we both know as War Machine players that there is a refly, and Morph
Yeah.
does that knee dive. He
Oh,
studied
yeah.
that. He spent time in the lab, so I got to give Morph a shout and all of that, because my man Morph, he can do that knee dive and pop real easy. So even CS Vagrant knows this, and he has said this multiple times and gives a shout out and respect to Morph on that one. I myself, I can do it, but I struggle with that, so I don't bother either. I'm like Rich and Eddie when it comes to that. I would do it once and I'm good, you know? That's the truth.
Yeah. No, yeah, that refly is something
Mhm.
I've been struggling with for a while. Even on Fightgate,
All of us.
it just yeah. But right now my war machine's getting a little better. That's why I was able to do some infinites, you know, and so it's all practice, I suppose.
Well, you did great with that, and I want to know. So like, all right, let's now that we talked about a little bit about the tournament and how we all felt about each other with regards to who was who and how it affected you and what you were thinking. I want to know more about you. Why is
All
it?
right.
Why do you like? Let's start
Why
with
do I like Venom?
yeah. Why Venom? Why would you say
All right.
Venom is your favorite? Let's hear about that.
This is gonna be it's not gonna make any sense.
Okay.
So my first Marvel versus Capcom game was in Mexico. I went to an arcade with my cousin,
Okay.
and he played the game. So
Okay.
I picked my characters, and I saw Venom, and I just see this like evil, cunning, like the color was nice. It's like dark blue or like purple, like the Joker. You know, I like that whole like
The
the Joker
Joker.
purple. You know, like yeah, like I like. I'm pretty much like a villain person. I'm not a bad guy, but I just like villains. You know, like the
It's
Joker or like it's fun. It's
it's
like
like
Venom. You know,
it's like Zangief in that cartoon.
like
He's like,
Venom.
just because you bad guy don't mean you bad guy, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, Venom's over there. Like you're like, oh, who does Spider-Man think he is? A fucking Venom's gonna take him down. So it's like, yo, Venom looks sick as fuck. Like
No, Venom's
his
a cool
whole,
character.
and then his
My wife
fucking,
loves Venom. She actually
I
thinks
mean,
that's her
excuse me,
favorite
sorry.
superhero.
Yeah, his shield, like when you block with Venom, it's this big shield, and it looks as opposed to Spider-Man when he's blocking, it's just a little web, you know. And to me, that kind of stood out. Like, damn, that Venom
That looks
blocking.
cool. Yeah.
And from there, I just kept picking Venom. And I mean, I'm not a comic book reader, so I didn't learn. I mean, I watched the movies. That's where I know Venom from.
Okay.
But it was pretty much that. And then it was pretty much from the game that where I liked Venom, and I just started doing combos, and I learned the Infinite eventually. And I just picked Venom honestly since the first day I've been playing Marvel. Like I always picked him first. I
And that
got a few games in, and then I switched characters. But that's what really helped was the fact that I always picked Venom in every set. You
but
know, no matter what it was.
he is your favorite character, right?
Yes, he's my
Okay.
favorite character in this game
Okay. And
because
now
I know
you
how
said
to. I just know how to do. That's probably my best character, or
okay.
Red Venom. You know,
All right. Now, if you had to pick Red Venom or regular Venom, which one would you prefer? Just curious.
prefer as in maybe competitive wise. I would have to. I'm thinking
Both.
Red Venom
Okay. And yourself.
because I think yeah. Well, Venom's just if I were to pick like if I had to get rid of a character from the game and I could never pick them again,
Hmm.
I would have to get rid of Red Venom because I love Venom. I
Okay.
cannot not pick Venom. Does that make sense? I would have to pick Venom. It's like I'm gonna miss doing all these infinites that people can't really do. You know, it's like it's just one tough infinite. You
Yeah.
know, and
No.
it feels
I
nice to
So
yeah.
so why War Machine throughout the tournament with Red Venom? Why not double Venom? Like you've done double Venom in the tournament too, but for the most part, like to win, I think you switched over to War Machine. I saw that. And,
Yeah. So
and one other
it,
thing,
it,
we did miss some of your matches. Like we caught like tail ends of your other matches, so we
yeah.
really didn't see you until you were in that
The,
hot
the
seat.
final 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. So I thought my game with Silent would have been streamed. But it turns out it wasn't. I think we messed up or something, but you guys
Okay.
caught us on the last round, which was 1-1.
Well, they were trying to
So
do. We allowed people to play if they wanted to
mhm.
just get their matches over with. That was okay.
Yeah,
Bloodtide and the Utility Men, again, shout out to those guys. They were in the background, and anyone that wanted to play, they were okay with coordinating that. So we were just getting the tail end of some of your matches because I think you ended up playing those guys and things like that without. I don't know if you guys wanted to be on the stream or not,
yeah.
but regardless, we had a good turnout, and I was happy to finally see you in all of your glory.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
Later on when the time came and you were in that top 8, my friend. So
Absolutely. So to answer your question, so I originally had thought to pick two Venoms on because I play on Fightcade and I use macros, the macros that they
okay.
allow. So three punch, and I don't use three kick anymore.
So
But because pretty much everyone started using macros, and that's how kind of the game expanded, right? That's how the competitive
uh,
emulator expanded. The fact that everyone used it, I'm like, okay, well, I got to keep up, and I got used to it. But then when I got the cab, I'm like, all right, well, my characters don't really rely, I would say, or need three punch. Red Venom can dash already.
mhm.
War Machine, okay, I'm just gonna learn the infinite, and I have been. So War Machine has a really good duel if you haven't noticed. Like if I catch you in that Venom web, that proton
I saw
cannon
you
is
do it
coming
actually. I saw you do that.
and
I
you can
saw you
pretty
do
much
that.
almost kill the whole character with 3 bars. So
I did see you do that, my friend.
that's really good, and it's really good for chip. Chip means when you're blocking and you still take damage, right?
Yep.
So when the war destroyer rockets are flying down, like World War III, you have to block and you're gonna take that chip, and Venom's gonna be trying to open you up or something, and it all
Yeah.
comes down to duels are very strong.
Oh yeah.
They're underrated. Duels are pretty
Extremely.
much the game.
I
There used
agree.
to be
I
this
agree
this
with you.
one player named Agito or Agito from Japan.
Yeah.
He said that duels are the game. Like you have to duel to be able to,
Oh yeah.
because it
Uh,
just makes sense. It's you have two
it's
characters on the
it,
screen and it's
it's the
broken.
strat. Yeah, it's the strategy.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
So
I
so
I want to take it back a little bit to something that you said earlier. I know there's a lot of controversy over this. I don't want to go too deep into this, but
yeah.
I'd like for you to elaborate on this whole macro thing because I myself know about things and I know how Fightcade can be and I know what you can and cannot do on a PC.
All
Yes,
right. Let me break it
you
down.
before you break it down, I know that you can program a 3 punch button and a
Hmm.
3 kick button. And that's like
Right.
an emulator, I guess, standard or default, if you will.
All right.
Now, when it comes to PC in general, I also know that you can create scripts and you can even have what we joked about with Morph, the
Yeah.
Hadouken button. It's true.
Hadouken button?
You can
Yeah,
actually
I
do
agree.
that.
I agree, and that's
So
part of what I'll break down if you want.
please,
I'll explain it from the beginning.
because
So
there's a lot of confusion, and I think that a lot of people have that mentality that guys like yourself have a Hadouken button and have things like that. And I know based off my own experiences because I played on Kylera and other emulators back in the day that it was more the 3 punch button and the 3 kick button more than anything. But please elaborate from your perspective
all
on
right.
this.
So when I started, I used the emulator called MAME32K,
That was
which
mine
allowed
too.
you to go to
Yeah.
Kylera.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So this emulator, first off, it allowed you to, you can set a button, you can set an input. Let's say we set low punch to a button, right? And then if you press enter again, you can assign the same low punch to another button. That means you will be able to kind of combine certain buttons. You could have technically people would have Colossus buttons because their keyboard wouldn't allow them to press more than 3 buttons at once. I don't know if that makes sense. There'd be like a 4-button rule. If you press like a bunch of keys on the keyboard, not all of them are gonna come out. So
So
for example, real
so
quick,
go ahead.
on my old keyboard back in like 2006, I would not be able to block and crouch and send Colossus because that's 4 buttons. The assist is 2 buttons, holding back is 3, and then crouching is 4. So I would have to let go of block, you know, I would have to pull a CS, and then I would have to send Colossus.
So I can explain if you don't know, or if for the people that are watching that don't know, that's basically a limitation on the keyboard itself that he's talking
That's a
about.
limitation on the keyboard, but let's go back to the question. All right, so
Well,
right now,
before you proceed, one thing I do want to point out: there are keyboards that will allow it, and they are referred to
yes.
as true NKRO rollover. What does that mean? It basically means, in short, that it'll allow you to press
Mhm.
more than 4 buttons at a time, and those are the keyboards that are sort of for, and they're more like the
Uh,
gaming keyboards that we have today. But please proceed. I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry to butt
No,
in.
no, that's all right. So right now, the 5K emulator back then after Chimera, the main one was GGPO. You know,
After Kylera,
so
yes,
that one,
yes.
that one, the emulator, it allowed you to have a 3 punch button, a 3 kick button, and actually it allowed you to have a third custom macro.
Oh, it
All
did.
right.
I
So
didn't know that. Okay.
people were taking advantage. All right, including
Really?
myself. Not gonna lie, people would have a drill claw button, a
Oh wow.
Hadouken button, you know, a pizza button, but they would mostly have it for Colossus. So
Okay.
what you would do is you would go into the GGPO directory. You
Okay.
would go into like my computer, you know, C drive, and then you would find the GGPO folder, and you would have to edit one of the controller notepad. You would open it up with the notepad, and you would add your own macro. And people were fine with this because this was what, you know, everyone was
Interesting.
competition. And but right now you can't do that on 5K. And to me that
Okay.
was fine. Like okay, like I don't mind. I don't really care. So like my keyboard allowed Colossus. So right now you're only allowed the emulator 5K. It allows you to have a 3 punch button and a 3 kick button. All right.
Okay.
So anything else that people do outside of that program, I consider cheating. So let's break it down. So there's auto fire, you know, a turbo slash
Yep.
auto fire
Yep.
that you
Yep.
can use.
Yep.
There's extra macros.
Morph
Like
did share that
okay,
with us.
there's extra macros button like oh I need a dual macro, you know, where you
Yep.
press it and it duels. I don't know if it exists, but you know, whatever kind of macro you need, drill claw, smart bomb, you know, sometimes those don't come out. But to me, anything you use outside of that emulator is cheating because that person does not really know or agree. That person does not know or is agreeing to what you're using, you know? And I haven't really met anyone who uses scripts. You know, that sounds like a lot of work, and it also sounds like it might fail because if there's any lag spikes, the script would like it would kind of impose on the script. Does that make sense? If
So
you have
the
like these buttons that should be pressed this second, this second, this second, but you have lag, it's gonna completely fuck up. I mean, it's gonna completely mess with the script. Excuse me.
I have played some guys where I was on, I think it was GGPO once or something, and somebody was doing an infinite, and I dropped, and the guy's still doing stuff, and I'm like, what am I to think? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm mentioning the script, and plus I know guys in the fighting game community, and I'm not talking like I myself. I do things legitimately by hand, by whatever. There are guys that I have met that actually have done programmable controllers, like
Hmm.
physical programmable controllers, where you can
Oh
program
yeah, yeah.
inputs
That
um,
would
f-
that would fall back
for
into like
for like combo
extra
videos,
programs and
right?
stuff. Yeah,
And then
yeah, like
eh,
the whole software and
yep,
code is crazy. You can do anything.
and the
So
same,
you have to assume that
yeah.
that you can do the worst,
Oh yeah,
pretty much, and you just don't know who's using it or who's not, and
oh yeah.
unfortunately that's how it is. But there are some people that have been exposed for using, for example, turbo. I'm not going to say any names, but
Turbo.
it's pretty much the Gold War machine, the proton cannon that would get up to like 40, 50, 60 hits. Like I have a video
Okay.
if you want. I can show you of someone using it. This person got 70 hits on Go War Machine. You are allowed to mash those buttons.
So
You can mash.
if you provide me with that video, I can show it at this point in time.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna do that now while I speak to you.
we will actually pause this at the moment, and we will display this video at this given moment in time. So
Okay.
let's continue going. What I do want to talk to you about though, and go into, is with regards to what I wanted to say actually is with regards to the script. I met someone in the fighting game community who I collaborated with on like combo videos once. We didn't actually do a video together, but he shared a way to create a script, if you will, with different inputs and things like that, and he shared that with me once. I believe it was on Final Burn Alpha, and I believe that it was like I think it was like a Luna script or something like that along those lines, but I don't know much about it. I don't recall. Like, he actually gave me this stuff. I'd have to go digging through my hard drives and look through it, to be honest with you.
For sure.
But I know that,
let me,
such things do exist. But
let me cover something real quick.
Go ahead.
So the whole idea of people, like the whole controversial subject, is that there could be potential people that are using macros on the cabinet. I don't know if it's possible, but for example, I myself, I don't use macros simply because I don't want to be called a cheater. I want everyone to know the truth of what I do. I have, streamed my hands online. I've streamed my hands on Fightgate, and there's still been people that say, "Oh, you use auto fire. Your techs are just, they're suspicious." I'm like, all right, I understand that they're suspicious and they're frustrating, and okay, I'll put myself in their shoes. Like, what if this guy kept teching my hits and doing one frame grabs, and it's like, all right, well, that's the thing, man. I love this game so much that I just break it down. I'm just like that, where I can react to it because I can kind of see it coming. And it's really not difficult after, 15 years of experience. It's like, if you can't get that grab,
So I want to stop you right here. What I'm going to do at this moment on is I'd like to actually display the infinite that you did, and show that you're actually playing and doing the infinite at this moment in time. So I just documented that.
There you go.
There it is. There it is. Look, he's doing it on the stick, guys. That's what it is. Keep it up. Oh, man. There he goes. Now we're coming back to this conversation at 34 minutes, let's say. And
all right.
So the question that I have for you next is, what would you consider more of a cheat, and what would you consider as a macro versus cheat? Can you please elaborate on the differences between a macro and a cheat, and how you feel about this, and what your thoughts are on this subject? Because everybody's going to have an opinion. Now, we may walk out of this, and people are going to have their opinion of you, and you know what? If they feel that you're like a hacker or whatever, let them think that, because that's who you are. That's your opinion. That's how you play. Everybody has a time and place. Whether if you play one way and somebody plays a different way, it doesn't mean that you're using some kind of exploit to beat them. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It's just what you're used to, from what my understanding is. Now, does that give you somewhat of an advantage? Do you feel like it does, in your perspective?
Which one? The macros or the keyboard?
Macros, keyboard. So
all right,
cheats.
so just in case people don't know yet, so I use keyboard on 1UP, but I do not use macros. I use 6 buttons, and I do not have any additional buttons or software, whatever you want to call it. I use 6 buttons and 4 directionals. All right.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I use. What do you mean? I use the punches. That's 3. I use the kicks. That's 6.
Do you have your keyboard that you could show? Like,
yes.
What is your layout? Like, how do you play? Like, what's the button?
Okay, so
If you wouldn't
So
mind sharing that with us, we're just out of curiosity.
yeah, of course. So I use a mechanical keyboard, and my buttons are my punches are E R T. All right, so that
RT. Okay.
not QWE because the Q was not working. So I went down a few. So
Okay.
I did ERT, and then the kicks are DFG right under them. The
Okay.
the
I'm
the
looking
start
at I'm
button,
looking at my keyboard on my PC
yeah.
right now just to see where they're at, and
The start button,
moving. Go
very
ahead.
important.
Yeah.
Very important that the start button is a little far away from my punches, simply because, you know, sometimes I mash, sometimes I'm in the heat of the moment and I'm like pressing these
Yep.
buttons and I'm
All of
nervous or
us.
I'm gonna press start sometimes and
Yeah.
I'm gonna taunt in the middle of like my duel and you're gonna like punish me, you know? Like
Yeah.
Eddie Good, the Punisher. So my directionals, they're simply the arrow keys. So that being said,
Okay.
if you think about it,
You're playing.
I'm playing crossed. I'm playing my
Yes.
right hand is actually the stick.
Yeah. You are
Yeah.
playing crossed.
So and then okay, so you were saying what is the difference between a cheat and a macro? So
Before you jump
mhm,
into that, I will actually share something with you about myself.
yeah,
So I can play on everything. I can play on the stick, I can play on pad, and I can play on the keyboard.
nice,
When
nice.
I play on the keyboard, I use WASD for movement.
Yeah,
Like a standard, up,
yeah,
down, left, right, but
absolutely.
like how in first person shooters you would use WASD. And for my punches, I use insert home and page up, and then I use delete end and page down for my kicks. And
All right.
much like yourself, those are the buttons that I use when I play on keyboard. So it's a different experience. The reason why I got into keyboard is just like you, playing on emulation on Kylera and playing on GGPO,
Yeah, it
Fightcade.
was more the fact that I didn't really
That's
have a choice.
yeah,
So I was, I spent all this time on keyboard, so naturally I just stayed with it.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting to join a stick tournament in 15 years down the line,
But
but that
you
doesn't
did
mean
great and you won first.
yeah, but yeah, that doesn't mean I'm not willing to learn stick or take people's challenges if they want to challenge me stick.
Yeah.
I'm all about. I won't say no to a challenge, and I try to keep it as healthy as possible. Like, for example, the teabag on Eddie. That there's some history to that, but we were just playing around. Like,
Please,
I'm sure
please
he
tell
did.
us. Please tell us. Please tell us. Since you brought it up, you're the one that brought it up.
gotta say.
Ready.
All right, I brought it up.
You bringing it to the op.
He's dug himself into that seat. That's what he's done. He's sitting up in there and farting in that seat, saying, "No, I'm comfortable here, man."
Oh, that in my. Ooh.
My man Eddie, he's keeping it
Ooh,
real
last
though.
minute save, Red Venom.
He's avenging Rich
Oh.
too. Come on, let's go.
At this point, Eddie don't really have to try hard. He's got the life lead.
Holy!
Uh-oh.
Look at this
I
duel.
think I'm
Wow.
talking too fast. I think I'm talking too fast.
Oh my goodness!
Oh.
Eddie busted out Wolverine, bro. That's real. He has
Woo.
wild. Claws, baby, claws. Oh, it goes again? No way! Oh my God! What the hell?
He jumped over him and finished him.
Yo, this is and he did what? Please
He
tell
needed-
us. Please tell us. Please tell us. Since you brought it up, you're the one that brought it up. You should
All right,
tell
I
us.
brought it up.
Please
All
tell
right.
us.
I felt that when I joined the Discord,
Okay.
I wanted to get his attention, and I felt like he wasn't seeing my messages, or he wanted to play other people, and I kind of took it personal. I'm like, man, I want to play this top dog, but he's not even giving me a chance. So
Well, I think Eddie gives everyone a chance. Eddie doesn't really run from people. He's not a
For
runner. He
sure.
confronts people. He's not. Yeah, no, that's not.
but
That's not Eddie.
that's how I saw it. So maybe
Okay.
I'm mistaken. So that's why the teabag happened. It wasn't like fuck this. I mean, it wasn't like screw this guy or anything.
Okay.
All right, you might need to edit that too, because
Don't worry. I'll add some blips to the
All
curse
right.
words.
So I mean, other than that, it's not going to get personal because these people, the people in the community, they're respectful.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
I love
they're
that
offline
community.
players. They don't insult you. Like
Hmm.
people on 5K, that's a whole different level. These people are
It's
behind
toxic.
screens.
Yeah.
These people are who you call keyboard warriors, not the people who use keyboard. The keyboard warriors are people who stand behind their keyboard. They're talking mess behind the screen because they're all the way in Brazil. They're all the way in Mexico, whatever. Like, not trying to be racist or anything, but there's different countries, you know?
Yeah,
And
that's
it's like,
true.
I'm all the way over here. I can say this to you to demoralize you, and you can't do anything about it. But on the arcade one up, it's not really personal. It's just like, ah,
It's just a
man, like
game.
you use a keyboard.
Uh,
All right, I'm salty, but I'll fight you tomorrow, and that's
you
it.
know,
That's how it should
the,
be.
the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, it's just a game, and it should be played for fun. Now, some of those guys, I think I can
Should,
understand
yeah,
why they think that mentality is
yeah.
probably just to taunt you, so that you can come back and try and fight them again, and so that they can think that they're the best or whatever their mentalities, you know.
Well, it's just it's there's a lot of people like that on the Cap too. For example, I think the fake Morpheus or I'll make you break. I'll make you break. You know, like
These guys are out there, huh?
they,
Okay.
they, they'll taunt you. They'll taunt you, and then they'll leave. And
Really? Okay.
that behavior, that's even worse than just like teabagging. Like
Oh yeah.
you know, like
Oh
I
yeah.
can teabag for fun if I really want to, but I'm not gonna drop on you, like unless you're really acting
That's happened to me
like you're
too.
insulting me, like you're belittling me, or you're like you don't. There's people are human beings, you know, in the end,
True.
and it's like you can
True.
only do so much, you know.
Yeah. No,
But
you're absolutely correct, my friend.
so
I have played some of those guys those names you mentioned, so I know exactly who you mean and what you mean. They've even had different names before, but we will not get into it. Again,
yeah,
tonight, my man, it's
right,
all
right,
about you.
yeah.
So, I want to
Let me answer.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, well, that's right. There's still something. Go ahead, because
So
I asked you about the
what do you
macros
what's
and the
your
cheats.
definition?
Hmm.
What's your definition of a cheat? You know.
That depends. See, that's the thing, and that's why I
Well,
want to.
no, let's go by the dictionary. A cheat is an advantage that I would say my okay. This is my definition.
Okay,
It's a
go.
tool that you have that others don't. Okay, so let's break it
Okay.
down to let's say the emulator on 5K. The emulator on 5K offers 3 punches and 3 kicks. All right, you want to use it? I don't want to use it. I want to use it. You don't want to use it. That's fine. But if I go ahead and download some software that you are not aware of, that you don't have access to, that's cheating. I have the ability, for example, I have the ability to do this, and you don't have access to do that. I'm cheating. If I drag the window, if I lag you, you know, if I DC it up, then I'm gonna be cheating. You know, that's what I count as cheating. Macros. Okay, does the arcade one up allow macros? No, it does not. So if I were to use a macro, for example, somehow that would be cheating because the arcade one up does not allow that. So that is not a tool that everyone has is access to.
Right.
Everyone has access to player one, to player two, and they have access to 6 buttons, start, and that's it. There's not even a coin button. So you have access to all of this. If you go ahead and make somehow macros for this arcade one up, that's cheating. That's what I would say cheating is. And
Right.
and
And
lagging people, things that you're interfering with their combos. You're interfering with their play style or your play style, you know? Like you're using
when you're playing on keyboard, you just have those 6 buttons, right?
when I'm
That's what
playing
you were
on
saying.
arcade one up, yes. I'm playing on 6 buttons because that's how it should be. I'm not going to that's not how everyone is. They're not playing with macros. I'm
But
not going to
but
try to learn how to. Yeah,
I don't think that you, even if you wanted to, you could, or could you?
exactly. No, I'm not sure. But even if I wanted to, I couldn't. So
Well,
I don't want to because everyone doesn't use macros and it's a whole different game. 5K, let's. I want to give the difference between 5K and one up.
go
On
ahead.
5K, I would say it's Turbo 2 and people use 3 punch and 3 kick. On Arcade 1 Up, it's Turbo 1, but the netcode is different. I would say it's smoother. There's no input loss, and there's no macros. So it's a whole different game. So I enjoy that. So I'm not going to mess that up by trying to be a hacker or trying to be a cheater. You know? What happens when it's time to shine and like I want to be able to flex offline as well, you know?
There
I
you
want to
go.
be able to play everyone offline, and it's like, all right, let's see that crazy War Machine Infinite. I'm like,
Mhm.
oops, I don't know how to do it because, you know, I have macros. It's like, no, I
There you
want to
go.
be able to always represent who I am. Ever
Respect.
since I started playing this game, you know, I've never really lied to someone or cheated
There
like
you go.
with software. So I'm really proud of that. It's like I'm not gonna ruin all this, all these years over a silly like, oh, I have to win that $400. Like, no, I don't need macros to do that. I just need confidence, experience, you know,
And
and that's
and,
what
and,
you
and
know.
you brought
I'm
it, my
not that
man.
person. I'm just not that
You brought it.
person.
You brought it
Yeah,
that night. You brought it.
you know.
Respect to you on that. So, very good point of view. Thank you for explaining that. I know a lot of the guys out there they have this idea that when you play on a keyboard,
That
you're
you automatically get macros or
yeah
something.
that
No,
you
it's much more like I explained it how in FightKit it works.
yeah
You even are allowed to have macros if you use a pad or a stick. You know, some sticks have 8 buttons,
so
and like Morpheus explained in his old video, like I don't use this last button. You know, I don't use macros, and he never used macros, or you know,
can
he always he wanted to do it because his style is I'm going to show you how a real War Machine should look like.
exactly
He said that's part of the game. He
yep
said it perfectly. It's like that's how the game is supposed to be. You're supposed to drop these infinites. You're supposed to, you know, panic and drop them and not drop them and not you know.
yep
So to me, that's different. It's a whole different um, concept. But on Fightcade, it's different. It's like on Fightcade, I agree what they do. Okay, you want to use 3 punches and abuse the game? I have no problem with that because I have the same tools. If I want to use macros, I probably will because they're using macros, and it's hard to keep up, you know,
yeah.
because there's a whole rank and like pride on the line, and you know, simple things.
So, one last thing that I want to touch up on with regards to the subject, because clearly we know that there is an advantage with the three punch and the three kick, whereas on the arcade one up, you don't have the three punch, you don't have the three kick. Can you please, like, I can explain this as well,
Mhm.
but I'm going to allow you to elaborate why. What is the difference? What is the advantage to actually having that three punch button, that three kick button, versus not having it, so that the people understand what the differences are? Because there's a lot of misconception. You know, like I said, misconception. I can't even say the word.
Misconceptions,
Thank you.
misconceptions.
There's a lot
So
of that going
it's
around.
really simple, and if you think about it, the way I press the three keys, I use my middle finger, my index, and my ring
Uses middle
finger, right?
finger. You hear that,
So
guys?
middle finger is longer than the other 2 fingers.
Okay.
So hypothetically, if you press the 3 buttons, you think you're pressing them at the same time, but that middle one is going to be pressed first.
Okay.
So if you press that one first and then the other two, you might mess up that dash, you know? So that being said, or you might one finger might not press at the same time as the other two. So what the 3 punch button does is it always allows the 3 buttons at the same time. So you can be flawless and you can do, you know, it's like you're a robot and you can't um you don't miss. So that's what it is. It's the fact that you have one button that allows 3 buttons. So
So
that is the advantage of the
what he means by this, for those of you that are watching, like what those three buttons can do, they enable something called wave dashing. For example, if you press three punches, you perform a wave dash. Try it. What it does is it launches your character forward. And now if you also hold back, it will launch your character backwards with the three punches.
Right. I think
And
wave dash though is when you cancel the dash and you dash again. That's called wave
that's
dashing because it looks like sort of a wave. It's like a fast dash, you know.
so
Um,
that's the next thing I was going to say is
so real quick
you would
though,
press three
mhm,
punch buttons and you'd press down to cancel the animation, and then you would
yeah,
press another three punches,
right.
and that's how
And the
you
three
wave
punch,
dash.
but the 3 punch button makes it easier, but it
Yep.
doesn't mean it makes it possible because you are able to wave dash with 6 buttons, and I've done it before, and you know I think I have it down almost. I just need more practice to like how to execute it and stuff. I was more worried on just like zoning in the tournament. You know,
Yeah, no,
I
you
wasn't
did great,
focused on
man.
like running with.
You did great with
But
with that.
that's basically what it comes down to. Like you have this button where you're not gonna miss your three punches or your three kicks. The three kicks, when you press three kicks, you get a super jump. So that's very useful. I use three buttons
Evasive.
for three kicks now because I almost have it down. I've been practicing for a few weeks and I
Okay.
seem to have it down now. Instead of when you super jump and you press down and then up, you take that extra frame or whatever to press down and then up, as
Okay.
opposed to just pressing that three those three kicks, you know? For example, I'll give you a scenario, hopefully you can picture it. If I'm Go War Machine in the back and Strider is about to send his special, the Legion, instead of it, there may be a point where you're like, if I super jump using the three kicks,
Yep.
I can escape it faster than doing it manually from down to up,
Down, up. Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And
I
there
know that
is
too. Yeah.
because you have that extra like quarter of a second to do something. And all in this game, remember, the seconds matter, the frames matter, the mistakes, they matter. All that equals health, equals chip, and all that gives you the whole
S-
plot, the whole.
So you would say the three punch and the three kick would technically be an advantage to those playing on, let's say, the arcade one up, correct?
Well, you mean if there's a macro button, or what do
Yeah,
you mean?
yeah. Like if we had the,
Let's say,
if
yeah,
we
let's say,
had, if we had the capability, like on the
right.
arcade
Let's say,
one up.
yeah. Let's say we had the capability to hack the PCB because I don't know anything about this, right? I paid I paid someone to help me install the keyboard to the PCB, right? So
Okay.
all I'm using on the keyboard is six buttons and directionals, and I can show that anytime you guys want if no one believes it.
You hear that,
But
guys? You hear that, guys? This is
I
the
don't
champ. This is the
know.
champ saying how he's doing it, and he's willing to share, and he's being truthful here, so that everybody knows, and whoever's watching, he's
Right, so I
explained the
don't know.
differences of how people can take that into an advantage, and he's
Yeah, so I don't
explained
know.
what
I'm
he's
not
actually doing too.
I'm not a wire, a forger, or a programmer, so I don't know
Okay.
if it's possible. But let's say hypothetically it was, then yes, of course, that would be
Okay.
cheating, and that would also be an advantage because you would have these macros to help you.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that would be an advantage to them.
And I
But
think,
luckily,
and I
all of
think
us,
that.
luckily all of you can tell right away when someone's using the macros. So
Uh,
that's another what I have faith in is like, oh, I'll be able to spot it because I've played this game so long.
yep.
For example, Silent Ninja and I will be able to spot if someone is using these macros. So we're not going to use them. I would say we're pretty disciplined in that, and we're here to have fun, and we want to kick ass playing on their conditions. It's like playing on the arcade one up conditions, not where you have to cheat or something. And yeah, that's what we do, and that's what I do. I speak for myself.
Hell yeah.
It's like it should be fair, and I don't want to be called a cheater. I've been called a cheater in the past, and the last thing I want is I have so much time in this game. I don't need to go back already. Like my skill's confident enough where I don't need to cheat. There are cheaters on Fightcade where they lag the window or they use extra turbo or macros, and it's like, well, whatever, man. I don't need that to whoop some butt.
I hear
So
you.
that's what it comes down to. It comes
I
down to your integrity of the game.
I think we've spent a good amount explaining this because I
Yeah,
know
I
I,
think a
I
move. Yeah,
I know that a lot of people have that misconception, and I know a lot of people have this idea in their mind that when somebody's
I
playing
think
on a
maybe
keyboard,
maybe
it
they got scared. Like, oh, a keyboard it has like 50 buttons. I guess he can do what he wants. I'm like,
exactly
no, I'm not doing
exactly
that. Like, I can show
there's
whenever. Like, if someone wants to see.
there's a
Literally,
limitation. There's a
yeah,
limitation, and that's what I think most people don't comprehend or
yeah,
understand is that the limitation is the amount of inputs that are actually programmed in this actual system itself, which are those six buttons. Now,
yeah,
are there people that probably can surpass that or smart enough to figure something out? Possibly, we don't know,
possibly, yeah.
but no, we know that you're playing that way. We know that you're playing legitimately with the six buttons, so on and so forth. So thank you for being truthful, explaining the differences. Um, I'd like to know more about you, though.
All
Again, the
right.
spotlight is on you, my man.
All right. Let me.
I just wanted to touch up on that so that people understood where you came from with regards to that subject, so that they did not go in their minds and think, okay, this guy's cheating, he's using hacks or whatever. I wanted them to know that you are a legitimate champion. That's why I
All
wanted
right.
to have that discussion.
Let me tell you a story of how I kind of, of my history on this game. So
Okay.
I mentioned before I was on Kylera, and when GGPO was out, I was not able to join it because of router issues. I had back then it
Okay.
was called Time Warner Cable. Now it's called Spectrum.
Yes, I
So
have the
the Time
same.
Warner company didn't allow me to go to GGPO. So
Really?
at
Okay.
the time, I didn't really care enough to buy a new router.
Okay.
I was like, no, I don't need to spend what, 20, $40 or something. But some people out there were like, no, I need it. So if I would have changed to GGPO, it would have been a whole different, I would have been a whole different person like in this game. I
Okay.
might have gotten better faster. I might have quit sooner because that's a whole another conversation of GGPO. We'll just say it's a competitive, maybe toxic place. Like people were really, they had their head up to there, and they were really prideful because people came here, they wanted the smoke, they wanted the business.
Yeah.
They would run first to tens every day, you know. They were making, I don't know if they made tournaments, but it's like people were really, they were really, this game was really fun, and that's what it came down to. I mean, what fighting game isn't toxic? What game isn't like toxic where you're trying to be the best and you're just, you're talking smack. So I was stuck on Kylera, but I was still learning combos. I was still, decent. And then once Fight K came out, GGPO was destroyed. Well, GGPO was, I don't know what happened, but Fight K came out and I went on Fight K. And that's when I got to play, top dogs, and I just became better and better and better. And, I started using other characters, Spider-Man and
Okay.
Hulk. Like I was only stuck on like 4 characters, Venom and War Machines, and I'm like, man, I gotta try other characters, and I did. And when you pick a character, you learn how to repel that character. So if you struggle fighting Wolverine, just pick Wolverine and learn Wolverine. That way you'll know when you're able to open them up or when you're not able to open them up. And that way, when you're defending on Wolverine, like, okay, he can't do this, or he can do this.
Mhm.
And it all becomes part of the big picture. Because that's how my mind works. It's like, oh, I learned something and I kind of apply it, to this big jigsaw puzzle.
So
And then from there,
go
Fight
ahead. Go ahead.
K2 came out, and here we are now. Like Fight K2 has ranks now. You know, I've even like hosted tournaments before. That was really fun. And it's been a long journey, a long, definitely struggling journey as like toxic. But that being said, I also learned that I should not let all this toxicity get to me. It was good training psychologically. Now I can lose any set in the world, and I'm not gonna, I won't break my keyboard or punch the fridge, like, or so it's just things like that. Honestly, there are people who just can't lose,
Yeah.
or that they don't like losing.
They
No
don't
one
like
likes losing,
Yeah.
but some people
But losing
they
is
start making
losing
excuses.
is not a bad thing. Losing means learning too.
It
Whenever you
does, but some
lose,
people, some people, they take it as pride.
yeah.
You're losing. It's like, no, how does this look to the spectators?
Yep.
Maybe they beat themselves up, like, man, I suck at life, or I suck at this game. Things
They
like
take
that
it too
too.
far. They
They,
really
they
shouldn't.
take it.
Yeah.
Everyone's head is different. Remember, everyone's head is a different universe. We don't know what they're going through.
At the end of the
So
day, at the end of the
at the end of
day,
the day,
it's just a game.
it's just a game. But
That's really what it is.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
some people don't believe that way. Some people think like, no, I'm the best.
It's
And
life. Yeah.
yeah, so which that's fine. Live your life.
So, uh, I know about myself. I'd say this is my favorite game, Marvel vs. Capcom. Is it your favorite game? Do you have?
Yes, I have to say that. I have so
Okay.
much years in this.
Okay.
My second favorite game, I would say, would be maybe Smash Brothers or chess.
Really? Oh, you're a chess player.
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool. So
yeah,
you're
I'm a decent chess player.
strategic. Okay. Okay, that's cool,
Yeah,
man.
I like the whole. It's
So,
just I just love puzzles, man. It's just and
That's cool.
discussing like, oh, I could do this and that and that. And
That's cool. That's cool. So, can you use the whole roster in this game?
no, absolutely not.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you?
What-
Speaking of that, have you actually seen? There's a show on Fighters Evolution called The Final Round. What we do is we pair you up against somebody, or you fight a rival, and you have to pick. It was a wheel spinner that picks characters for you randomly. You have to play with them.
Nice.
Would you be open to doing that one day?
I would be open to do. I would also be open to doing a pretty much. Let's say I fight you, I pick a character, and you pick a character, and that's going to be our team, and we mirror.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd
You
be
could-
cool.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be
Like a
cool
mirror
too.
match throughout. You mean?
I also have, yeah. But you pick, let's say you pick. Oh, I want to pick Wolverine, and then I say, oh, I want to pick Venom. All right, so it's Venom and Wolverine versus Wolverine and Venom, and then you're allowed to like switch
So
positions.
one
or
person
whatever.
picks one character, the other picks the
Yeah.
other character. I got you.
Exactly.
That's a cool.
Or-
That's a
or-
cool good idea, actually.
Or one person bans one character from the opponent. Like you say, I want to ban Venom, and then all right, so now I
You
gotta pick
can't
something
pick them.
else.
That's it.
Yep, exactly. I also have one idea I've been really wanting to do, but no one's up for it. It's called a 12 character battle.
Okay.
You pretty much you pick 12 characters. In the beginning, let's say I pick Venom and Wolverine, right? I'll give you an example. As soon as one of those characters dies, I can't pick them again. So let's say Venom
Okay.
and Wolverine. Let's say you KO my Wolverine. You don't have to win the match. You just have to KO one of them. You KO Wolverine, and the next time I lose, I have to pick Venom and somebody else.
That makes
If
sense.
Venom's still alive.
Yeah,
Does
that
make-
makes
it's
sense.
like
You
Wolverine's
kind of like
completely
keep
gone out of the game.
it going. It's
and
like a
then-
survival mode.
Yeah, and the first person to run out of characters just loses. So
That's
it's like,
pretty
okay,
cool.
I have these. Yeah, it'd be interesting, and you can keep Venom. You can do Venom. For example, me, like I would probably pick Venom in the end, or maybe in the beginning. You know, it's like, do I want to keep this momentum or do I want to save him?
Which
Does that make sense?
if you could do that with someone, who would you do it with? Just curious. Who would you want
I
to
would do
challenge?
it. Well, any of the top 8, anyone who's kind of up for it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would need someone with some kind of skill. You know, like I'm not just trying to like win or practice combos. I would have to be someone that can really hold their stance. You know.
Gotcha.
But that doesn't mean, yeah.
All right. Well, we
You know, it's
can-
gotta be entertaining. It's just gonna be a long set. You know,
I'm
it's just hard to play everyone. It's hard to please everyone. But
I'm
that's the
open
honest truth.
to trying different things and having fun, man. I'm open to all kinds of things. So
For sure, man.
whatever
Absolutely.
I can do to make it fun and cool for the community, I will. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely.
So we know about your history with Marvel versus Capcom. Now we know about your history with how you went from throughout the emulators. So the first time you actually saw Marvel vs. Capcom, play Marvel vs. Capcom, it was on an emulator or it was on the arcade?
It was on a stick.
So it was on
It
an
was definitely
arcade.
it was in an arcade in Mexico. Remember
Oh,
the
that's
first
right.
time I
That's
played it?
right. That's right.
But
That's
it was
right.
just
That's
it was
when
just
you
for a
saw
couple
Venom.
days.
Yes, that's right. That's
Yeah.
when you saw
It
Venom.
was just for a couple days, and then I came back to America,
Okay.
and my friend was like, "Yo, like there's an emulator you can play." So I took it to computer class, and everyone was playing it. And I even took like Halo when we were doing like 8-on-8, you know, and the computer teacher was really cool about it.
Okay.
So, and then
Would you-
from there, I just played keyboard, and you know, I got good on keyboard. I was kind of forced to use keyboard,
Because
and, you
of
know,
that,
I didn't
yeah.
want to invest. I didn't want to invest in
I know
a
all about
stick
that.
or
I know all
For
about
sure,
that.
so-
Yeah.
so that's
So-
how it happened.
Would you say that was your first fighting game, or what? Like,
Yeah,
start.
definitely.
Let's go further back. Like, start off
All right.
like.
The first fighting game I would have to say would be Smash Brothers. I wasn't really
Oh, okay.
in the
Okay.
fighting community, you know, like I knew about Street Fighter and Marvel, but I never played those games.
Okay.
So I played Marvel versus Capcom in 2006, I would say, or 2000, yeah, more or less 2006.
So you got into
But
it around then.
before
Okay.
before then, I was already playing Smash Brothers a little bit, but it wasn't until like maybe 5 years after that they did this Smash tournament at this bar. So every week I would go there and play Smash 64 and Mario Kart 64,
Gotcha.
and just naturally I just got better, and it's just like, oh, I'm actually good in this game, and I just kept playing.
All right.
So I mean, I wouldn't consider that a fighter, but pretty much the only fighter would be the Marvel vs. Capcom. You
Yep.
know, and
Yeah.
that's it. Honestly, that's the only game I play, sadly. But
All right. Well, so I think I've covered everything that you know. Unless there's something that you'd like to discuss or bring up, we can definitely do that in closing. Is there something that you'd like to bring to the table, or something that you'd like to say to anybody that's watching this?
yeah, I just want to say that I try to bring um, positive energy. So
Good vibes, man. Good vibes
good
only.
vibes, and everyone on Arcade One
GVO.
Up seems to have good vibes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone on Arcade One Up seems to have good vibes,
It's
and
a good
but there's nothing.
community. I
But
have
let
to
me
give
say
a
this:
shout out
there's
to
nothing
Footy
wrong.
Laughs. He did a
There's
great
nothing.
job with
There's
that
nothing.
server. I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
No,
I
it's all right.
I just want to give a shout out to Footy Laughs. He did a great job with putting together that Discord server. What he did was when he got the arcade one
Yeah,
up, he started a Facebook group. Him and a guy named Boise. These two started a Facebook group. They started a Discord server, and it took off ever since. And it actually brought me back. Like, I had completely retired from making combo videos and doing other things. And when I saw that cab, I was like, okay, I gotta get it. I gotta jump on with Marvel vs. Capcom. I want that for nostalgia reasons. But
for
I'm
sure.
I'm so sorry I cut you off. Please, this is about you, my man. Go
No,
ahead.
pretty much the closing statement is like I would hope to represent the more positive side of Fightcade, you know? So I want to represent the fact that
Okay.
this should not be personal ever. It should not come down to insulting people or taunting or teabagging and dropping early. You know, that's like clown
Hell
behavior.
yeah, I agree with
And
you.
so, but but there's nothing wrong with a little competitive spirit. You know, if you want to taunt the guy, that's fine. You know,
An
just
occasional tea
don't act
bag,
like a
right? I'm
don't
joking.
act like a yeah. There's a difference between really like degrading someone and like just kind
Yes.
of taunting them, you know?
Yes.
So I would say it, I would always say that's open, you know, like just I mean I'm trying to hear just to have fun to so people learn and you know, I'll take challenges, I'll take questions from everyone, like you know, I'm just trying to bring the good side of Fightcade, you know?
Yeah.
And but that being said, all of this, it's hard to understand another person's point of view because I have so much years in this. I'm pretty much, you could say I'm a top dog, so I don't lose as often. So it's kind of easy for me to say all this because I don't lose. It's like, oh, well, you don't really lose. So of course you're going to say, like, oh, I'm always happy. And, you know, but it's like, okay, I don't understand their point of view. But I just
Well,
want to say that I've been there and I've done that. So whatever it is you're going through, I'll understand, and I'll be like, whatever. I'm not gonna try to take advantage or anything, but I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
you did
if I,
say.
for example, I'm here to say, oh, we're here to have fun, but oh, it's so easy for you to say you win all the games, you know? So of course I'm gonna have fun,
Mhm.
but it's like that's the line. That's the line I want to just cover, and but in the end, it's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be that egotistic, not that top dog guy. Where like, yo, I'm not gonna, you know, like whatever.
Well,
So
one thing I've learned myself is that no matter how good you get, no matter if you're the number one spot, whatever the case may be, someone will come over and will always beat you, take you down, or whatever. But that's also the beauty of the game, because then it's like, okay, you get defeated, you come back. It's like the eye of the tiger, man. It's like you lose
yeah.
a game, you get better, you go back to the lab, you study something, you improve. That's the whole losing equal learning mentality too.
And also remember this, like every day is a different day. If you lose today bad,
Yeah,
tomorrow you can win again. You can win that person.
people have
You
good
know,
days and bad days. Yeah,
next
that's true.
year we might have some new tops. Next year maybe one of us will retire. You just never know. The
That's
game
true.
is going to constantly keep changing, so
That's
it all
true.
depends on us how we want to what's the word where you like make you mold. It's all how we mold this game, you know? How
The
we're
one thing,
sculptors.
the one thing I have to tell you, my man, this game is always bringing me back. Whether I'm competing, whether I'm doing this with you, this or tournaments, I have so much love for this game. It always brings me back one way or another. I'll tell you that much, man.
Absolutely.
So I feel you on that, and I think that they're the top dogs in this game. They all feel the same way. Like they have love and respect for the game, and that's where I think because we share that passion and we share that love, I think that's where all of us kind of have that same wavelength. Even though there's competitiveness and all that, I think at the end of the day, we're all grown-ups, we're all adults now. And
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
respect
The
for each
more
other.
mature we are,
Yeah,
I think the better the community is, you know.
yeah. I
And
totally agree.
honestly, my only advice I would give, I want to give advice on how to get better and how to treat the community. I would say treat the community with transparency. Be like, you know what, I gotta go, or I don't want to play anymore, or yo, just a few, cause I gotta bounce. That way, there's no miscommunication. Like, oh man, you just beat 5 and you leave. It's like, all right, well, I didn't really know I was gonna leave, or like, oh, I'm
This
gonna
way it
play.
doesn't look like,
It's like,
yeah. It's
yeah,
like,
or
oh,
you
I,
just like,
I
yo,
beat
I
you and
play.
I left. Yeah, I got you.
Like, yo, he's like, yo, I play anything goes. So if I pick Red Venom and start to infinite you, like, don't think it's like, oh, what is this guy doing? You know, like, did I do something wrong or something? And then the other thing is like, how do you get better? Number one thing is practice. And then the second thing I would say,
Yep.
anytime you make a mistake, note that down in your head and think about what just happened. Take that second to be like, oh, I grabbed low instead of high, and that's why. And then when you do it again, you'll be like, oh, I remember this moment, and then you'll be like, you'll adapt to it, you know. And
Yep.
watch replays if you can. Watch your own replays, and then you study them, and it does help. And
Well,
so does warming up, and it's just the list is endless. But the main thing I would say is, focus on your breathing, try to have fun, try to learn as you grow, and then adapt to the opponent's play style, and just yeah, just
you
try
hear
to
that,
adapt.
guys? This is the advice from the champion, okay? These are his trade secrets that he's sharing with you guys right now, okay? Take
There's
notes.
a lot. There's a lot.
Take
There's
notes.
a lot.
Take
So
notes.
okay,
And
so
and
you
and,
can
and Anzz has his own channel, everyone. He has a memes and matches. We will I'll post this in the description of this video so that you can all kind of click on that. Please like, share, subscribe on his channel that's listed in the description. My man, he puts together some great videos as well. He does strategy stuff. He shows tactics. He shows all kinds of cool things with regards to Marvel vs. Capcom. So definitely subscribe to it's memes and matches, right? That's
yeah,
the
memes and matches. Yep, memes and matches, and the profile is Red Venom and War Machine. The
the
picture.
picture, yeah. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
share it in the description of this video below, so that everyone it'll be a clickable link. Just expand it in YouTube, so that you guys can click over to his channel. Don't do that now yet. After this video, guys. but this way you guys can click in and you guys can like, share his content, and also subscribe to Anzz, because he's going to be sharing his wealth of knowledge with us. I really feel like he's got a lot of knowledge. He shared earlier. He showed me how to actually do the canceling of the high punch, which I'll show. So how do you do this? Like, I don't even know how to do this.
Oh, okay. Which one are you trying to do? The one where you off the ground?
No, the where you canceling.
Oh, press hard punch,
Yep.
and then press low kick right after.
Literally.
The low kick is gonna cancel. The low kick cancels everything. You can even there you go.
You're
So
kidding.
just press it once. After you press it once, then press down. Yeah, and then just do it again.
Holy crap! That's how you do it. Wow.
Yeah, and then you just get used to it. Yeah?
That's cool. That's cool. I actually did not know that. That's cool.
For sure.
This moment in time. So, lots of respect. Huge shout out to my man for winning that tournament. Again, my man, like, I don't know what else to say to you. Like, you respect, really respect. You paid some of these top dogs who are like monsters and killers out there. You were able to,
For sure.
and you were able to get through. All of them in the top 8 were all killers.
One thing I forgot to mention was I picked Red Venom more or less the same time as Venom. Like, I have so many years with him, so that helped too. I got the infinite down, I got openings down, and just the way he works, and the whole game. My whole strategy is about game mechanics, and it's like, all right, if Venom is able to do this, then I should do this. Kind of, sort of like making the best play possible. You're sort of picturing like 3 or 4 possible scenarios in your head. Maybe not that crazy,
Yeah.
but it's more or less like, okay, this can happen or this can happen. Which route do I want to take? all right, if he does this, I'm screwed. Okay, so I'm gonna do something that counters both. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Whatever. Yeah, and it's
Well,
just
that's what
from
you did.
experience from fighting a lot of
That's
people.
what you did at the end with Ninja. You had to adjust, and what you did worked out. You
For
there?
sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, absolutely. It's just kind of adapt and like I said, momentum would be my one of my main strategies. Like, if you have the momentum, think about this: if a boxer corners someone in the ring, you got to keep that momentum going. This guy is scared. This guy's blocking. You know, they're limited on options. You have to limit their options. You sort of have to. Does that make sense? Kind of. It's like.
It does. It does. Before we do closing, I know you've had matches. Like I myself, I can recollect. I can go back in time and I can talk about history of X Team and the battles I had and all these things. Like I remember them like yesterday. Out of all the years of playing on GGPO, Fightcade, Kylera, and now Arcade One Up, what are the highlights for you? What is like the your rivals? Like who would you say was your rival? Who was like who would you have to say that you want to like gave you so much of a hard time and that you went and you came back and you learned how to play against and to this day, like who would you say right now is probably your greatest threats and like tell us. I'm just curious, like what's your perspective on all these things?
All right,
Since there is a
mhm.
competitiveness to all of this, of course.
So I'll just keep this one brief because there's
Okay.
a lot of history to it. But my biggest, I would say, my most difficult threat and the most fun threat, and the most I've like really sparred with was this guy named DC. Stands
Oh,
for Dark Cloud.
I know him
Yeah.
well.
So
I know him
yeah.
well.
So there's some history, but I'll just keep it that he's a good player, and
He
we
came
we
from
used
the
to
X
spar a
team.
lot. We used to spar a lot every day, and he would streak. Okay, not gonna lie, he would win. He would even
He's a
win
good
with
player.
like lower characters, you know. But then as I started to get better, things changed, you know. So we'll just leave it at that. I got better, and I would keep up with him, and maybe he won't agree on that, but he was definitely a strong character, and Silent Ninja would be one of the seconds.
Okay.
I didn't really get a chance to play with the other top dogs like TK, TK, Divine. I didn't really get to play with them. Or there's a lot of people. I don't
Well,
want to leave anyone out, but I'll just name a few.
okay.
And other people after that, a guy named CS. He's really good, honestly. He knows a lot about the game, but he gave me a run for my money as well. I appreciate skill, so I'll mention who has like, oh, this person, I have faith in.
Gotcha.
Other than that, like there's a lot of people I could mention, but I'll just keep it to like, because the highlights is like, okay, like in the middle of my career, my Marvel career, it's like
Yeah, yeah,
who
yeah.
was around, and it was DC and Silent Ninja, they were around. Right now there's other people that I still compete with or that they compete, and that's cool, but they weren't really part of like the back, um, there is
Okay.
also one guy I want to mention that I've mentioned before, like it's Are You Hit or Ru-
Yep. Or
Ruhit.
Ruhit.
He,
Ruhit or Are
he
You Hit?
I could never I
I
could
think it's Are You Hit. I agree with you on that.
yeah, I could never really beat
Like it's a
him, and
question.
that was my main Kylera opponent.
Okay.
Once I went to Fightcade, it was DC, and I didn't really get a chance to play with like others, but um, yeah, that's pretty much that guy was like a boss, like a
He's
final level
good. No,
boss.
he's
That
good.
guy was hard. He was hard. He
I've
has a
played
lot
him
of
too. He's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
he's pretty good.
so
Had some good
yeah,
games with him
yeah,
too. Yeah. I know what you mean,
absolutely,
man.
yeah.
Well, anything else that you'd like to say before in closing?
I would like to say that I really love this game. I don't see myself retiring anytime soon. Um, I'm hoping to do projects, memes, strategy talks, tournaments, events. I'm really into this game. I really want to keep discovering it, and if anyone has questions or if comments, like I really enjoy all the conversations. So I'll try to make time for everyone, including challenges and stuff.
Well,
So that's
I,
all I can
I
really
hope
say. And
I hope we continue to see more of you on the Fighters Evolution Network. That's for sure, my man.
absolutely.
Because as of right now, you are the Fighters Evolution Marvel vs. Capcom champion, my man.
Thank you.
So congratulations to you on that.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for hosting it and donating, and shout out to that. You know, it's got to take a lot
So
of
all those
heart to
contributors.
donate. Yeah, it's got to take a
Yes.
lot of heart to.
Well, all these guys that have contributed, they have the same passion and love for this game. So huge shout out to every single one of those contributors, and to the people that also helped run the tournament. Bloodtide, Utility Man, and of course Rob 2D for the PCB and for the HDMI out. Without him, we would not have that great quality of what you guys see. I mean, I've done all kinds of things to improve that as much as I can, but the truth of the matter is that he deserves all that credibility. And then I do have to say to the contributors, thank you all, because without you guys, we would have not been able to have such a great prize. And I know Anzz appreciates that. You really, you won first. You got the majority of that pot, my man. That prize
Thank
pot,
you.
yeah. That
Yeah,
prize
yeah,
pot.
very nice prize pot. Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations to you again on winning the tournament, my man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Blast.
So again, guys, check out his channel. It's in the description below. Just expand it within YouTube. If you're watching it on Twitch, I will try and list it in Twitch, but it's on YouTube, and it's memes and matches. I think if you if you Google memes and matches Marvel vs. Capcom,
Yeah, you'll get it.
We'll get to you, right?
Yeah, we could YouTube it. I was
Okay.
just on YouTube typing memes and matches, and it should
There
be
you
the
go.
first one.
You heard him, guys. So definitely check him out. I've already subscribed. Fighters Evolution is following, so I highly recommend it because he has some great videos, and he's gonna have some more. So definitely tune in, and definitely like and subscribe with us at Fighters Evolution as well. We're gonna continue bringing you guys these competitors and these great players that you're seeing on screen. Anzz he's the champ right now. I had to bring him out. I wanted him to have that opportunity to shine. I feel like he deserves it. So thank you, Anzz, for agreeing and for coming on to talk with us and for letting the community know who you really are, my man. I really respect you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, man. I was always that was fun. I'm always down for this kind of conversation interview.
I hope that you and I can collaborate and do more things in the future, my friend.
For sure, man. We will.
So again, thank you all for tuning in. Anzz, I keep saying one last thing, but if you got something else that you want to say, now's the time, my man, because I'm gonna close it out.
I think that's good, man. Thank
All right.
you. And Hadouken button.
Yep, Hadouken button. Remember, guys, he explained how all that works. So start Googling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good one. Take care. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, Blast. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you all later.